This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're about to begin our meeting. We're having a volunteer with the prayer. Okay.
Bow your head, please. Father God, we come to you this morning to tell you thank you for the little small thing that we take for granted. For waking us up in the morning, getting us in our right mind, clothing our own self. Father God, we just want to tell you thank you. And we want to say a special blessing out to all our families that we leave at the house every morning. Just continue to bless them and put your hands on them, Father God, and keep them safe. Also, all the kids going back to school, Father God, the school teacher, the bus driver, the janitor, just bless them and keep them safe and just do what's best and lead them in the right direction. In your name we pray. Amen.
Let's all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have a proposed agenda before you. What's your pleasure of the board? Are there any addition first?
I don't have any.
I move, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the agenda.
I second.
It has been motioned and second. I would like to add one thing. Like Tim said, praise the Lord. I'm fixed to roll in Lily.
Fixed it. They're
Man.
working on it.
Oh, it's smooth as all out. I don't care if they don't do anything else. They put some little plastic stripe down there yesterday. That's fine with me. Man, no humps in the road. No holes. All in favor of the motion? The show of hands. Okay, that motion carried. Are there any, I need a motion on the floor for the old minutes. What do I hear?
Make a motion to approve. Second the motion.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Do we have any discussion or correction on the old minutes? If not, all in favor by the show of hands, and that motion carries. Steve.
Okay, I get caught up here. We'll have the finance report ready at the next meeting for the month of July. Just a reminder, we still have a vacancy on the Board of Health. And I checked with probate judge Rooney Bowen this morning to see, he said he would try to work. He's got somebody he's talking to, but they haven't committed yet. So we got on the agenda. Nothing new on July, but we're waiting on DOT and engineers to make progress on that project.
I thought they were going on out there after they left Lily.
Update on the new EMS station. They're working on, I think they've got the sheetrock up. They put the trim on inside, starting to paint, or will be painting shortly. The carport roof materials have been delivered, so they should be erected soon. So they're making progress. They're shooting for to be in there by November.
On that part that we were talking about, the addition onto it, that metal part. So they got that.
The metal is on site. It hadn't been put up yet.
Oh,
But it's on site.
Okay, all right. I ain't doing that later. Okay.
And according to Don Williford, he's been doing a little research. He's claiming in November we'll be we will have our EMS service would be 50 years old. In November. So, and yeah. Sound about right. That's when I rode in that hearse. 15 years old.
Oh, you talked about that.
So there's been some conversation about at the Public Works Department, when that new shop building got built, a sign got put out front, sort of saying when the building got built and who the county commissioners were at that time. Do y'all want to do something similar to this EMS building in Unadilla?
I think it'd be good.
Okay. We'll work on trying to get something up on that. Status of the surplus property, the house in Unadilla at 2900 Pine Street. We advertised for sealed bids, and last Friday at 3:00 was the deadline for bids to be submitted. I asked Linda and Misty to sit in. We came in here and just for them to witness the opening of the sealed bids, just so it wouldn't just be me in a room doing it. And depends on how you want to look at it. Well, you can say we either received 4 bids or 2 bids. Because it was confusing. One of them had 3 bids in it.
They wanted to win. Wanted to get it.
This was the first bid. This was the second bid.
You bidding against yourself?
You won,
And this is the third bid.
Oh, you gotta go in $1,000 increments.
We didn't specify.
I'm surprised it's right.
I'm assuming what their intention was, bid 65. If that don't get it, I'll bid 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to take the highest.
But fortunately, it's not a issue.
Oh. 75,000?
Mhm.
There you go. Sold.
Is that Renetta?
Mhm.
Show your name.
What? Oh man, she could have saved $10,000. She didn't know about the
Okay.
first. She didn't know about
She
the first
wanted to
time.
win.
It's sealed bid.
She didn't know about the first time though. When nobody bid it,
Yeah, she knew about that.
she could have bid it 65 days.
She wouldn't have got it at 65.
The first time.
Oh yeah, first time.
Yeah.
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 Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's the bid. So what's the board's pleasure?
I move we sell the property.
I'm
Let's
second
put
that.
it on the
Move,
child.
let's go.
And I'm gonna second
I
that
put
one.
the attorney at work for closing.
Do what?
I said, I'd
Ten to the
a
plus.
motion that we sell to her and Mr. Burt get the paperwork in order.
I think would be sort of in order to give her 30 days to.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. It has been motion and second. Discussion, what you mean by the 30 days, Steve?
Allow her 30 days to get her,
Oh,
to have the closing.
okay.
She ain't gotta come pay us this afternoon.
All right.
I'm assuming she may have to get some financing lined up. I don't know.
Yeah, at least cash, is this financed? I mean, how does,
We're not financing it.
right. But after the 30 days,
This is the first time I've gone through this
So
now.
that would.
after the
yeah,
30
same
days
question.
to give her, does it revert to the next bid?
When you sell something at auction, you gotta have the cash then.
Yeah, that's how we've
So we can
always.
give her 30 days for what due diligence to get the paperwork done and all that, but I mean, if she says we'll give her 30 days and then if it's not closed in 30 days, then it goes.
To the next guy.
Okay. That's what I was.
There
That's,
is
and
no,
let's go ahead and establish that at 66-1.
now you say there is no due diligence in this. It's I mean, they walk through it. It's as
Right.
is. There is no home inspections. There is no
No,
walkthroughs.
no.
It's
She's already had that opportunity to do all that.
right. Okay. I'm
It's my understanding.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor by the show of hand. That motion carried. Now going back, now what did we have in it in the beginning?
65.
We had 65 in it.
Plus, some miscellaneous
Mhm.
expenses. We did some cleanup. We did quite a bit of cleaning up around in the yard and inside the house. But I think we didn't We broke even.
Okay, that's
I don't think anybody got the better deal of anybody on this. I think it's a.
No, we didn't make any money on it.
Mhm.
All right,
The best
Splosh.
part about it is it won't be an empty house for long. You know, hopefully she'll get it turned around.
Yes. Okay, let me get caught up here.
That's still a good buy though.
For a 2,000 square foot house
Yeah, that's still a good buy.
and a lot.
A room to park.
Okay. Let's temporarily skip over number 7 and number 8, and we'll come back. The USDA grant, we're still working on the USDA grant for some assistance with the purchase of the new ambulance that we have ordered that's on back order right now. So hopefully we'll get some assistance on that project. Number 10, the Planning Commission's been working with the River Valley Regional Commission on updating our zoning ordinance. And the River Valley has submitted a proposal. So it's going to the Planning Commission for them to review, and then they'll review it and make a recommendation to y'all at some point in time.
They're sending them a new code or new zoning ordinances based on the open meeting they had.
I don't know what it's based on, to be honest. And the Planning Commission will conduct a public hearing at 5:30 on August the 14th to receive comments on the following zoning request. Vester McWilliams Jr. has applied for a zoning variance for tax parcel 7029A, which is at 599 Bullington Road, to add a third residence on the property.
What is that at?
Bullington Road, if you're going down Highway 41, it's the last dirt road to the right before you get to the fire tower. I believe that's going to be in
Mobile homes out there.
I think there's a couple. Supposedly his plan is once he gets the third home there, he's going to remove one of the other ones. But we've heard that before.
So this is located in the West Richwood District.
Southwest Richwood, community. Okay. Item number 12, the River Valley. Hold on, let me get caught up here. The River Valley Transportation Alliance. Number 12. That's sort of a group of the counties in the River Valley Regional Commission area. Several counties have approached the River Valley about trying to help the counties go after some of the federal infrastructure money that's supposedly available. So they had a meeting the end of July, and I think they're working on scheduling another one. And at the next meeting, they really would like a representative, one of the county commissioners from all the counties that are interested in getting some of that money to be at the next meeting. Supposedly they've identified in Dooley County, just on their initial review of the federal legislation, they've identified 3 potential projects that would, in their opinion, would qualify for the funding. And in no particular order, as they told me, on Highway 90 in Lilly, an overpass over the railroad would qualify. On Highway 27 at the Flint River, a new bridge would qualify.
Where's that?
On Highway 27 at the Flint River.
The Luther Story Bridge.
At Drayton.
Oh.
Right at the county line. And River Road in Macon County, Dooley County, and Chris County would qualify.
That whole road.
You know, we talked about that once before.
That was on our T-Splosh list of projects we submitted, but there wasn't enough money to go around for
Right,
that.
exactly.
My initial response of those 3 projects, 2 of those projects are on state highways.
Yeah.
Up in that.
River Road is a county road, it's ours.
And if I might say, that's been our biggest beef with T-Splosh. All of the state road work.
Well, I think we were in the first T-Splosh, I think, well, that was everybody's first time going through it. And naturally, DOT did a lot of the leading the conversations, and naturally, I don't know whether they intentionally led the conversations to projects on their state highways opposed to the county highways or not, I don't know.
Tied to Columbus, Georgia.
It certainly looked like that was the case, so.
These nice passing lanes.
Hmm.
That was T-Splosh, the passing lanes.
That was under the original T-Splosh. We agreed to that, I believe, to get in the game. But I think now we're looking at trying to do like some of the other counties did, which is try to put it on our secondary roads,
So
for our county roads.
Mr. Chairman, I'll let you know when the next meeting of this alliance is. And if you're available, me and you'll ride, we'll ride together to the next meeting. 'Cause I think if we could get River Road out of it, we'd be done, get a nice lick at it.
Right. And I had forgot, but I had written down River Road on my paper over here to remind me because I know some of that road is down by Drayton. Isn't some of that road state for a small section?
Where Highway 230 comes in,
Right.
there's a very short section from there to Highway 27 is state highway.
Okay.
And then below 27, River Road takes back up to Chris County.
Right.
So,
They didn't make it, County, in Largo, shit, we are on the road.
Yeah. And then see, this lady asked me about, I know it's like going to the church down there off of River Road, said that we need to put some pay down, like, going to the, whatever that Forest Reserves or whatever, not there, but where the church is located, some kind of reserve or something down there.
that wildlife management area.
Yeah. I said, well, I told her, that's sort of far-fetched, but now River Road is a county road.
Yes, sir.
And I know we've been having complaints about the, that stuff out there messed up, the pavement. Yeah.
And, if we could get River Road, and then if there's enough money, they want to put overpass in Lily on Highway 9, that's fine. I'm assuming,
we'll shoot for the star.
but
Yeah.
to me, our first priority would be the River Road project.
Yeah, 'cause that bypass, they got an alternate ride out there. They take it now anyway. So.
Y'all notice how the trains aren't as long as they were. Of course, they don't have to be long when they stop.
I thought they were
Like
derailing
crossing.
too much. I thought that's why they stopped being so long. They couldn't back them up.
COVID, they moving stuff.
Yeah.
People out and about.
Okay, all right, well, let's go back to
Everything
Splosh.
tied to COVID.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go back to the Splosh. This one. You'll take one of those and pass it around.
I just don't know how to act now. The Wiggin and Whopper coming in the Lily, man. Just a straight shot.
Won't hurt the teeth no more.
Man, no. Boy.
It's a shame. You couldn't go with us. Folks have been trying to beat that out of no time. They come back, go
Yeah.
that rock on.
Yeah.
That rock on that nice. All right.
Yeah, right. That's moving. So probably might be a little, I don't know how long it'll be before they put the rock down, but it might be a little drag race right there.
It will be.
All right, just remind everybody, this is it's one of the top section there is where we at with the current Splosh, which is for the years 2019 through 2024. And I've got each, there's a column for each one of the projects that the voters approved money for county projects. And those projects were courthouse, EMS, fire, jail, library, recreation, and roads. And then the cities collectively got 25% of it. And originally the voters approved $250,000 for courthouse, $250,000 for EMS, $500,000 for fire, $750,000 for jail, $50,000 for library, $150,000 for recreation, $4,575,000 for roads, and then the 25% for the cities would be $2,175,000. So we projected a total for the 6-year period of revenues to be $8,700,000. And then if you take off what's been designated to each of those projects for the year, that first row that's highlighted in yellow is the current fiscal year, where there was no money left. The courthouse checking account had already got all its money, had been designated it. So there's zero left for the courthouse for the remainder of that term, which ends December 31st, 2024. EMS, there's $59,200 available for next fiscal year. So that's what we have penciled in for it for next fiscal year. For fire, there's $249,987 left available for them. So we penciled them in that. Jail, we penciled in $173,000 for this year, and it'll leave $77,000 available for them in the next fiscal year. Which you got to keep in mind, the next fiscal year will be fiscal year 24-25, which will start in October of 24. Well, this SPLOST will end December of 24. So we'll actually get 4 checks, because the check we'll get in October is going to be the sales tax that the merchants collected in September. So we'll get December's sales tax that's collected by the merchants. We'll get that in January. So we'll get 4 in that next fiscal year, 4 checks from the state on that. Then the library, they got $29,000 available. We'll give that to them next year. Recreation, there's $55,000 for them for next year. Roads, be $695,000 available to them, and they'll be zeroed out. So everybody will be zeroed out next fiscal year, except the jail, and the cities will have a small balance due to them. And then any excess funds that come in from that SPLOST will have to be applied to existing debt over here. So that's why I got a question mark over there. I don't know what that's going to be. Unfortunately, that's not in next fiscal year. That's in the following one. So we ain't got to really worry about that figure right now. So that's just sort of giving you an update where we at with the current SPLOST. Now, hopefully, the next SPLOST will get the voters to approve another SPLOST. So, and that's the very bottom line there. Right now, we project, if you go all the way to the right, we projected a total of $10,400,000 to be generated by the next SPLOST. And 25% of that will go to the cities, so that's going to give them $2.6 million. And then tentatively right now, the last time we talked about it, this is how y'all broke down the county's portion. Courthouse will get $300,000 out of the next SPLOST. EMS will get $300,000. Fire will get $550,000. Jail will get $1 million. Library will stay at $50,000. Recreation will be $150,000. Roads will get $5 million. Cities will get $2.6 million. And then $450,000 for administrative for the county.
What did we say that was, what were we trying to do
They
there?
was trying to do the ABM project. Payment, the bond, no, the loan payment.
Because we're thinking we'll get an ABM payment out of the existing debt up top for 24, 25.
Maybe not an entire payment, but
We think we'll get,
we can, for each one of these, back up in the top section, each one of these projects, those projects can only receive up to whatever the amount the voters approve. They cannot receive anything above that. If the SPLOST generates excess funds over that total of $8.7 million, which it appears it will, unless the economy just totally tanks between now and then, we will have some excess funds. The state legislation says that the county can, the first option county has is to apply excess funds to existing debt. And the ABM would be an existing debt or the bond payment, potential bond payment. So anyway, I just wanted to refresh y'all's memories on that.
When do you think we'll reach the 8.7 million?
Somewhere around September or October of 24. But it just depends on how it comes in.
So we'll have a little bit more in 24. We'll have October, November, and we'll have the Christmas sales.
We'll get that in
Excess.
January, yeah.
So that'll be the excess. So it'll be a little bit more maybe than a regular month would be.
I don't know that our where folks gonna be shopping for Christmas
Oh, you're
in
right.
Dilley County. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to be ugly, but
we would get the online sales.
Right. Well, I was going to get your stuff at the truck stop.
oh, thank you. Thank you.
But 24, 25 is what month to what month? FY 20.
It's October 24 through September 25. So we'll get 4 payments in that fiscal year from the old SPLOST.
Your target for 300,000 or more.
Yeah, I'm totally. I've underestimated what that revenue is going to be
Because
there.
at 8,700,000, you're at 725,000 a month.
But only
And all that would be coming to us, none to the cities at that point in time, right?
Right.
Biggest part of it anyway.
Under the state law.
But if you're saying you think we'll hit 8.7 in September of 24.
Yeah.
So you're saying we'll have
4 months.
4, it runs into 25.
The collection runs in 25.
The old sales tax ends December 31st of 24.
You'll get a payment from
Okay.
December in 25.
Okay.
So
We'll have the
we'll
money.
get the
Yeah.
sales tax that the merchants collect December of 24. We'll get that the end of January 25. So that's why we'll get 4 payments from the old SPLOST in fiscal year 24-25.
So this new splash will start January of.
The merchants will start collecting it in January of 25. We'll get our first payment February of 25. If the voters approve it. And just, we had our meeting with the cities. We tentatively approved the revenue projections and the distribution. I sent that to the cities, told each one of them what their projected amounts would be, asked them to look it over, send us their projects and the amounts, if they have multiple projects, how they want it divided. I've got response from 1 city, and I asked for that information by the end of July.
What's the city?
Byronville.
We want the money.
They're well represented.
So I got to try to drag this information out of the rest of the cities. So if y'all see any of them, help me out. Cause we got to have that before we can, finalize the language to put on the ballot to actually, but y'all to vote to issue the call for the election so we can get started on the process.
Now, when we talked about the recreation the other day, and we talked like, we might need to add some more to that.
Just keep in mind, either if you're going to increase one of these projects, you either got to decrease one of the other projects or increase your projected total revenues. Because right now, the pot that y'all said is the projected revenues total $10,400,000. So if you add into one of these, you got to take that amount away from one of these. And just a comment, I know everybody wants money, but I'm wondering what we're gonna do. We got paved roads out there falling apart. And if we're gonna only resurface 5 miles a year, and we got 250 miles of paved roads, it's gonna take 50 years to get around. And these roads ain't gonna last 50 years.
These electric cars are gonna be heavy.
Well, that farm equipment ain't doing no justice.
No,
No, but
that's
electric cars gonna be twice the way down there.
I mean,
exactly right.
I just looked at that road. I said, Lord have mercy, please let it at least be there one day before one of them great big old tractors come through there. And I know they can't help it. They gotta go to their farm.
Right.
And before they start twisting and tearing it up.
But in this road thing, in this road here with SPLOST, what percentage of that will go to paved roads? I mean, isn't all that lined up for operation now?
Mm-hmm. And you can make an argument for each one of these projects need more money. Everybody needs more money, but the pot, there's only so much money available.
That's why it's so important, and just what you brought up this morning with that alliance. That's a bunch of miles we got in River Road down there. And we get somebody else to handle that for us. T-SPLOST, you got 4.2 tenths of a mile. On Coney Road, you get somebody else to handle that for you. We have got to take advantage of every situation we can, and we've got to ask and ask and ask again. Because when you sit here waiting for them to throw you some crumbs, you're going to get in a mess. And we are in a mess.
And back to that alliance, I'm glad you mentioned that alliance again. That reminded me early, several months ago, the River Valley, when they started kicking this idea of trying to get a group of counties in our region to start looking at was that infrastructure money. River Valley doesn't have the staff with the expertise to go after that money. So they thought it would require us hiring a consultant that specializes in federal grants. They asked, did I think if Dooley County would be willing to chip in $10,000 to pay toward a consultant to get this money to do this? I said yes.
Absolutely.
So, and then keep in mind, if we do get some funding from the infrastructure, it's most likely not going to pay 100% of the cost of it. So we're going to have some local match involved in it. So you have to keep that in mind. But we don't know any of the details. But that's something that's going to be coming in a few months. So anyway, that's where we're at with the SPLOST.
I'm gonna ask this, Steve. All these are buckets up to the top, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can put anything up there that you want to.
Well, down here at the bottom, the very bottom line, yeah, you can put anything you want to there. The current SPOS, those buckets, I said, we can't do no changing of those figures. The voters, that's what the voters approved up there for the current SPOS, and we can't change those. But for the bottom line, yeah, and like I told y'all initially, you can add a column to this for some other project you want to put some money in. But you're gonna have to take that, for the money you put in a new project, you're gonna have to take that amount of money away from one of these existing projects. You know, it's a balancing act, you know. Because you can look at it and say, well, hey, first, the most important thing is get the voters to approve the SPOS. If they don't approve it, it don't matter. We're gonna be in a world of trouble if the voters don't approve the next SPOS. But it is what it is. Any other questions about the SPOS? Either the current SPOS or the projected new SPOS?
When's our deadline to adopt these buckets?
I'm gonna say by the end of November.
And the cities need to get you their wish list.
Pinehurst just said they're voting on theirs tonight. She'll submit it
Okay.
to you. Yeah.
I was real surprised I had not heard from her. Yeah. All right, well, we'll set that to the side. Then the only thing I got is to have go into a budget work session and talk about proposed budget for next year.
I got one thing, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Old business, I guess it's old business. The letter that y'all wrote to the Board of Assessors, did y'all ever get around to that? Y'all never did get around to it yet.
Mm-mm.
Can we take a brief executive session for personnel?
Yes, sir. What's the pleasure of the board?
You wanna add it?
Okay.
And then we'll have a budget work session after that.
So we need a motion to go into it then.
I make a motion, we go into executive session.
That's that.
It had the motion in second. All in favor by the show of hands. And that motion carries. We're now heading into executive section.
I'll let you know if any action. If you don't hang around, I'll let you know if any action. You're welcome to hang around. Then.
Y'all couldn't get together on the letter, or y'all just decide?
You said discuss a personnel issue.
Huh?
To discuss a personnel issue.
Yeah, going back.
Hold on, let me turn the recording off. Where's it at?